So most welcome. My name is Gert-Jan van Dommelen at this Synergy Europe webinar concerning EndPlasticSoup. I will please make your notes, and I would like to introduce Marie-Louise Slettenhaar-Ket as our moderator for this webinar. She is from Rotary Club Leefklimaat, which is environment in Holland, and more or less e-club or password club. They also meet together sometimes, 4 times a year, I believe. And she is member of the Europe management team of ESRAC. And most welcome, Marie-Louise, and maybe you can take over.
Yes, thank you very much, Gert-Jan. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Let me introduce first who we have here. Who just started is Gert-Jan van Dommelen. He is the board member of the EndPlasticSoup. He will do the techniques of this webinar today. He's a member of Club Huizen Gooimeer in the Netherlands, and he's a driving force behind EndPlasticSoup, although, of course, the group is much, much bigger than just Gert-Jan. The other driving force is Marja, I can say. Marja is Marja Ritterveld. She's also here today. She is a past district governor in Germany, also board member of EndPlasticSoup. Let's go to the next slide. I would like to show you who is here today. So we have amazing speakers. I would like to welcome them all. Not everybody is here, I guess. We're still waiting for Kamal. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, Kamal will join us soon, hopefully. Kamal Zangvi, he's our keynote speaker for today, and we'll talk about EndPlasticSoup to create hope in the world and discuss education, equity, and environment. And then Janet is here from Nairobi, I understood. Hi, Janet. Thank you so much for joining us today. And you will tell us about the UN Plastics Treaty, the first global plastics treaty that is in the making right now. Then the next person we have as a speaker is Ralf Thiel. Hi, Ralf. Thanks for joining. And he will speak about health and plastic pollution in medical care. Then also here we have already Amin Sabri. Welcome. Telling us about the plastic-free Nile. And Anne Legeland, yeah, she also just joined. Great, Anne, welcome. Anne will tell us about plastic upcycling factory in India. And I'm not sure if she's already there. At the end, we have a video from Dr. Helen Nambalera Nkabala. And she is supposed to be here also live, but I think she will join us a bit later.
Okay, then we start the video, I think.
Yes, please.
Welcome, my name is Gert-Jan van Dommelen. I'm the co-founder of EndPlasticSoup, the initiative for Rotary to end plastic pollution. Come and join us.
Why do we need to act? Because of loss of biodiversity, human health, and climate change. What you can do: take action, create awareness, and build alliances. Join EndPlasticSoup. We offer our network, our experience, and our help.
The planet takes care of itself, but we have to take care of the planet. Thank you for supporting us, and please help us to solve the plastic pollution problem. EndPlasticSoup now!
Thank you very much for the movie. Good introduction to EndPlasticSoup and what it does. This is a program. I already walked you through it a little bit before. I first would like to give the floor to Ort Herzog, the president of Synergy and founder, to give some opening remarks. Ort, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Marie-Louise. Synergy Europe welcomes you all to today's meeting, Rotary Can End Plastic Pollution, an update of Rotary EndPlasticSoup. Today, we have our first meeting in 2024, showing once again the extraordinary engagement presented in one of our Synergy Europe meetings, extending over the European borders. Sharing ideas across borders and showing the fruitful impact of Synergy is our greatest interest. I warmly welcome you all. I would like to welcome our guest personally, so PDG Maria Ritterfeld, board member of EndPlasticSoup, together with her co-founder and board member Gert-Jan van Dommelen. A special honor is the presence of past Rotary International Director Kamal Ashangvi from India. Further on the presence of Jesine Meissner, Chair UN Ocean Decade, Ralph Thiel and Amin Sabri. During this meeting, we have the unique chance to learn what is the progress since the last time. We heard from EndPlasticSoup in September 2021, and by and large, the global situation has not changed. What has probably changed is our consciousness and personal technical progress. In my work for many projects in Uganda, I have realized that Rotaractors in particular are very committed to environmental issues, as they have the world's largest freshwater reservoir right on their doorstep, Lake Victoria. But now it's my great honor and pleasure to hand over the stage to my friend PDG Maria Ritterfeld for her opening remarks. Please, Maria, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Urs. A warm welcome to all of you. As board member of EndPlasticSoup International and its German chair, I'm very glad to have the opportunity to inform you about our approaches during the last couple of years. When Rotary Synergy Friendship Alliance Europe started in 2021, EndPlasticSoup was in September one of the first initiatives that was presenting its goals. Since then, a lot has happened. We could increase our impact, expand our reach, enhance participant engagement, and increase our ability to adapt, just like the 4 priorities identified in Rotary's action plan. More Rotary and Rotaract clubs are joining us. We have ambassador clubs in more than 50 countries and on all continents, and we have many actions that are taken to create awareness. Next slide, please. When we try to stop the plastic pollution, we are working on all areas of focus. Working on climate and plastic justice is promoting peace. Plastic pollution is a threat to human health, so we're fighting disease. Microplastics are found in soil. They have negative impact on crop growth and in marine life. So if we can stop the plastic pollution, we are saving mothers and children. Microplastics are in our drinking water. So if we can stop the pollution, we are providing clean water. Many people in the world are not aware of the threat of plastic pollution represents to everyone. EndPlasticSoup has educational programs and is supporting education to create this awareness. Waste management and recycling systems are supported by EndPlasticSoup projects, which means growing local economies. And with all our achievements, we are protecting the environment, preserve loss of biodiversity, and reduce climate change. Next slide, please. Just like the Rotary Vision Statement, EndPlasticSoup sees a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe in our community and in ourselves. Next slide, please. For our Rotary International President, Gordon McKinley, mental health is an important issue to work on. Those who live in poverty are suffering most of our plastic pollution. For some of them, waste dumps are the only place where they can live for free. Imagine. The toxic chemicals in plastic can not only impede our physical health, they can also put vulnerable populations at a higher risk for mental illnesses. Imagine you have to live on plastic waste. There is no other free place to live than just with waste around you. This is making you mentally sick. I hope Kamal is now here.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, then I will skip his introduction, but the last thing I wanted to say is, let's together create hope in the world and stop the plastic pollution that affects our health, biodiversity, and climate change. Today, our speakers will tell you more about these issues, and I had to introduce Kamal now, but I think then we take the next speaker. That will be...
Yeah, if Janet, are you ready to go? Could you go a bit earlier in the program?
Janet?
Can you hear us, Janet?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm just having some problems with connectivity. Let me switch to my phone.
Yeah.
And then I'll just present using my phone. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you prefer we go with Ralph first, so you can settle if Ralph is ready?
We can go with him first.
Ralph, are you ready to go?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I am.
Great, thank you.
Yes. Bye-bye.
We do some adaptive management here. Ralph, please go ahead. If Gert-Jan is also fine with the slides. Yeah, perfect. Please go ahead.
Yes, hello to everybody. I want to talk about plastic pollution in medical field, especially in hospitals, not specifically about health problems, but plastic pollution. Can I have the next slide?
Yes.
Some of you may know this picture here from the von Maja Kojic from the Netherlands. She is an artist and had a couple of years. She had a breast surgery, and you make this picture here from her single operation, which all shows all the plastic is used in this single operation. You see the blue gloves, the gowns and suture materials and everything. This is a material is used for the rest one operation, and many thousand operations are done every day. Next slide, please. So I'm talking about sustainability. Everybody knows what it is, and especially health fields are contributing to a large amount of CO2 footprint in the world, about 4.4% from the general CO2 emissions worldwide. Next, please. So if you look about different aspects of sustainability, we have ecological aspects, economic and socials, and we are going to look on different aspects right now. Next, please. So if you look in Germany, we have nearly about 2,000 hospitals and more than 1,000 medical institutions like rehabilitation centers and things like that, and more than 100,000 doctor offices and dental offices. So there is a lot of pollution and waste produced every year. In the hospital field, it's nearly 5 million tons per year. This is number 5 in ranking from different fields in Germany. And an average hospital in Germany produces about 7 to 8 tons of plastic per day. That's a very huge amount. And if you look on the plastic pollution waste, it's about 400 grams. Sounds not much, but plastic has low weight, and 400 grams is already a sack of plastic per patient per day. And we have to see that in the hospital, not everything is the waste is not specific. We have more than 60% in the hospital waste. It's nearly normal household waste, and only a couple of percent are very, very dangerous or infectious or pollutants. Next, please. If you look on the different arts of waste in a normal German hospitals, we have more than 300 tons of household waste. We have this typical hospital infectious waste. We have drugs, body parts, blood units, cytostatics, sharp instruments, chemicals, and some kind of dangerous chemicals. Next, please. A couple of years ago, 2 years ago, the German Physicians Chamber, the General Chamber in Germany, decided to turn the medical system in Germany to climate neutrality until 2030. The remark is it should become, it's not must become, but it should become, and they make a lot of recommendations how different medical fields can achieve this very big goal. Next, please. So these are the 10 areas, 10 fields of actions, how you can achieve climate neutrality in hospitals. You see, it's a lot of different aspects. It starts in the management and goes down to every aspect of daily work. And I cannot go through everything here, but you can have a quick look on everything. And I want to concentrate on point 6, which is waste. And this is what I have been asked to talk about. Next, please. If you see if you look on waste in hospitals, there's a huge amount of packaging and double packaging or triple packaging of different instruments. You see a surgery instrument on this picture here. It costs several hundred euros, and it is used just 10 seconds in surgery and throw it away. And these are aspects where we can act. We can reuse this packages waste. We can reuse instruments. We can reduce unnecessary plastic packaging and things like that. And we can substitute all these plastic single-use instruments by metal use. And in a couple of decades ago, all these instruments were made of metal and were used thousands of times. And the industry talked us this would be not hygienic, and therefore most of the hospitals in the world changed to the single-use instrument, but this is not a good way. Because we know we can re-sterilize these instruments, we can use biodegradable products like for gloves. We can separate and collect waste on the wards, in the OR, in offices, and so on. And we can force the industry to take back the instruments and recycle them. We have a treaty for this one German factory, Ethicon in Hamburg, and it's working quite good. Next, please. This is on our floor of the OR. We collect our waste in the OR in different tons. You see a glass, we separate it in different colors and recycle it. A small bag for residual waste. We have plastic waste, typical yellow bag in Germany. we collect batteries, accus, and so on, and we collect all the aluminium waste mainly from suture packings, and this box gets full every day, and it's turned back to recycle. Next, please. And what can we do to reduce waste in hospitals? If you look on this very nice instrument on this picture here, it's a needle holder. It costs €2.50. It is nearly nothing, but it's made from metal. It comes from China, and our managers buy it because it's very cheap. And you make one suture and throw it away. That is a catastrophe, yeah. Because you could use this 1,000 times, but it's only made for one action, and then it's thrown away. And we are going now to replace this with normal reusable instruments. I already talked about packing. Aluminium collecting and recycling. You see the box here, and we have contracts about with companies to take back their single-use instruments. We can identify valuable plastic and recycle it separately, and we can also replace all this unnecessary plastic stuff like scrubs and coats. In former times, we used cotton gowns, and this is also possible to reuse this again. And in general, we have to rethink hygiene methods because most of them are driven by industries and not very scientific. Next, please. Oh, you skipped one. Yeah. So this is summary. Very important issue is to sensibilize employer and employees for sustainability issues in a hospital. You can work on many fields like nutrition, energy, waste, like I talk about. You can calculate your CO2 footprint, and therefore you make awareness of all these problems. You should start in your own field with small projects which are easy to establish. You can plant trees on your hospital area or everywhere else. When you build a new hospital, you should in any case you should build a filter system for narcotic gases. This is a fact not many people know. If you use narcotics in an operation, you see on this picture here, these gases has a CO2 effect 2,500 times than normal CO2. So it's very important to reduce this from the environment. So I'm coming to my end. Next, please. I hope that we can establish some projects about this very important issue. That's not only in Germany, it's worldwide. And everybody is interested in this field can contact me. You have my contact data on this slide here, and I would be happy to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ralph, for this horrible but a very insightful presentation. It's very shocking to see what is going on behind the scenes there, and a big task ahead. Thank you so much. If anybody has any questions for Ralph, please put them in the chat, and maybe we have a bit of time for Q&A later in the session, depending a bit on the time that we have. Our keynote speaker arrived, Mr. Kamal Zangvi. Thank you so much for joining us. I would actually like to Maria to take the floor and introduce our keynote speaker.
Yes, first of all, I want to thank Ralph. Ralph is now our Director of Health for all countries in the world. So yes, if you have questions, please contact Ralph. Most of you might know Mr. Kamal Zangvi. I'm very proud to introduce him to you. Mr. Zangvi is a Rotarian with heart and passion. The list of all his achievements is very, very long. So I just wanted to point out a few things. Zhang served Rotary International as a Rotary International Director in 2021. He was the convener of the Presidential Conference 2022. Currently, he serves Rotary as chair of Rotary International Membership Committee 21-24. He is chair of Rotary India Literacy Commission and chair of the Rotary Leadership Institute South Asia. He is a pioneer of vocational training centers for women, coordinated 11 polio corrective surgery camps that treated thousands of patients. He himself says that one of his proudest achievements was leading a Rotary initiative that helped 200 Pakistani children get heart surgeries in India. Of course, he was awarded by Rotary International many, many times. When we are looking for his CV on the internet, one thing is still missing, and that is that he is member of the EndPlasticSoup Advisory Board. I'm very proud that he is now the keynote speaker with a presentation that is called EndPlasticSoup to create hope in the world, education, equity, and environment. Kamal, the floor is yours. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, everybody. And first, let me apologize for being late because I had connection issues. There was a Wi-Fi meltdown, so I could not connect. But however, thank you for being there. So let me start by saying one thing, that in presence of hope, in presence of faith, there is hope. In presence of hope, there is love. And in presence of love, miracles happen. And I believe the Rotarian's job is to spread love. We are the ones who spread love across the world, and we are the ones who create hope across it. And I see miracles taking place every day. I see miracles of limbs being given to the lame, the sight being given to the blind. I see miracles of people cleaning the oceans. I see miracles of people doing EndPlastic projects. I see miracles of people giving new birth to a child by operating heart. I see miracles every day. And that is why we Rotarians are called God's own people, because mankind is our business. Creating hope in the world is our job. And that's why we say service above self is what we live by. Coming to this, why service? A couple of years back, there was a climate conference. And in the climate conference, they spoke about 5 most important factors which will change climate across the world. Invariably, people would say, oh, electric vehicles or solar cells or solar battery operated equipments would be the ones which would change the environment because it would create less carbon footprints. But let me tell you, in that environment conference, the third most important reason to change the climate across the world was voted as a girl-child education. They said the girl-child education, great third most effective. It was even voted higher than solar cells. So coming to that, I personally believe that you need to start from there. Before trying to change the world, we need to change ourselves. We need to change our own houses. We need to change our own streets. We need to change our own communities. If you don't change the communities and you carry on doing and creating things, it's not going to work. It's going to collapse. So first and foremost, you need to give equity to women in this world. I do not talk about empowerment. Women are empowered because I always believe women are the most empowered people in the world. You know why? Men can never do things which women can do. Women have 2 things which men can never replicate. Men can never give birth. It is the only right which has been given by the force almighty, or whichever force you believe in, that only women can create birth, can create life. And they have the heart. Anchal. In India, we call it the anchal, the womb and the heart. That is what women has, is the ability to create life. And unfortunately, women have a voice, but they are never heard. You need to hear that voice. You need to give them equity. Opportunities are there. There are going to be opportunities. Women are empowered. What I want is that each woman should be given equity in this community. Moment a woman is given an equity, you will believe, let me tell you, things will change drastically. Every girl child has to be educated across the world. If you want to change the world, you need to educate every girl child. The same goes in Rotary itself. We have only 14% women across the world in Rotary International. Probably even in India, we have only 14. We've got 18% women in Rotary. How can an organization prosper where the world population is 50% and the population of that gender in our organization is only 18%? It cannot prosper. No organization in the world can prosper unless equity exists in that organization. So the foremost thing which I would like to talk about is that we first now need to create an equity for every woman in this world. And that comes from education. It is important, and I always believe the rich and the strong need to look after the poor and the weak. The more educated need to look after the less educated. And this is where we come in. This is where Rotarians come in. Create opportunities. I always believe that other than your own child, I would just like to ask each one of you here, raise your hands. If you have helped educate another child other than your own, just raise your hand if you've done that. I'm so glad. I love you all for doing that. What I need now is to raise both your hands and probably every family members. Try to educate one more child other than your own child. Imagine about 1.2 million Rotarians, and with Rotractors, 1.4 million Rotractors do this every year. In India, it only costs maybe $50 just to educate a girl child in the whole year. Imagine at the cost of a cigarette, a cost of a bread, or a cost of a bread on a daily basis, or probably cost of a orange juice, glass of orange juice, you can change the entire life of a community, of a whole family. Because the saying is very good. If you educate a man, he gets educated for himself. But when you educate a woman, the entire family gets educated. It is extremely important that we start at this root level. Why I am saying this again and again is because you start at the base level. Base level is education. Base level is education. So I want every one of you to spread this word. Talk about it. Think about it. Go back into your house in the morning when you brush your teeth. Look at yourself in the mirror and question yourself. Is this what I'm in Rotary for? Or have I done enough in Rotary for? Or should I do more to make the world a better place to live in? Should I be involved in more in it? We cannot leave education only to the politicians and to the ministers or to the government. Education is a birthright of every child, especially a girl child. And so our fight to end plastic starts from here. It starts from this base level. So once we are done with this, let me assure you, we will not need to do anything further. We will be point blank where we want to be if you just take the pledge of educating every girl child in this world. Coming after that, once you've done education, ending plastic is also about giving equity and women empowerment. Equity breeds more prosperity. So let me tell you something. Everyone cleans up your house every day. You clean up the garbage in your house and you put it outside of your house. And then that garbage van comes and picks up the garbage and takes it away. Now imagine a situation when that garbage van does not come and your garbage starts piling up for days together outside your house. What happens to you? The first child which is going to be malaria infected would be your own child because the garbage is lying. Cleaning your own houses is not enough. Making sure that the community is clean, making sure that the community is empowered, making sure that the community moves forward is what is going to create a world which is in peace with itself. If you take strife across the world, every place which is under strife today, I'm going by thumb rule. take across any place where there is unrest in the world, where there is disagreement, where there is strife, where there are people at war. If you will see that, the education level is low because people don't have equity. The moment you create equity and opportunity, people will be happy. And we are the harbingers of happiness. And I always believe happiness is portable. Happiness is portable. It can be carried from wherever you go. We are the smile creators of the world, each Rotary. So clear out that garbage. Clearing out your homes alone is not going to make the community very safe and prosper. It is clearing the garbage on the street, creating environment for every child which is clean outside your own houses. It is what's going to give equity to this entire world. And then the world becomes a better place and we all prosper from it. Because there is a very nice old story. Let me share this small story about a farmer growing a corn. Probably at the cost of repetition, I'd just like to do it. How important it is. A farmer was growing corn. One farmer had this ability to grow large corn, beautiful, sweet corns. Rest of the villagers could not do it. But you know what? There was two options for the farmer. The two options for the farmer was either retain this expertise with himself or share it with his entire community. He started giving his corn to the other farmers so that every farmer in that community could grow the same kind of corn. Then someone like me, selfish person like me, went up to that farmer and said, why are you giving away your corn and your expertise? Because then you will lose your expertise and everyone will be growing the same corn and you won't get the price of the corn which you grow. And you know what that farmer said? Corn grows by pollination, cross-pollination. If I do not share my goodness, if I do not create equity in my community with this good corn, sooner or later, my good corn will also turn into bad corn. It is all about sharing. It's all about creating that farm which has equal quality of corn across the world. And then we create hope in it. Friends, it's all about doing good. It's all about sharing your expertise. It is our job. And invariably, a lot of people ask me, why do we Rotarians need to do this? There are others in the world who can do this, creating equity for people, creating equity for women, making sure that the world is at peace and the world is a better place to live. Why do we Rotarians have to do it? The answer is very simple. I ask the question back, if we don't do it, who else? I always believe every Rotarian is a favorite child of the almighty power, whichever power you believe in. We are the favorite people. We've got everything. We've got roof on our head. We've got food in our kitchen. And we've got a floor on our feet. More than 2 billion people across the world don't even get 1 square meal. More than 2 billion people across the world don't even get medicines they need to eat. More than 2 billion people don't even get education. And that is where I believe we need to step in. And I also believe for all the women here on this platform, you know, there's a popular saying which goes that behind every man, successful man, there is a woman. How many of you have heard of that? Can you raise your hand? Behind every successful man, there is a woman. Absolutely rubbish. Let me tell you, absolutely idiotic statement of the world, one of the most idiotic statements. I believe very strongly behind every successful woman, it goes for Marie, it goes for Maria, it goes for Annie, whom I can see on the screen. Behind every successful woman, you need to carry 3 more women. Then the world will become a better place to live. So I need a pledge from all of you that are you going to carry 3 more women today, from today onwards, and carry them back on your back so that they become successful? It's all about cascading effect. If each of you women carry 3 more women, imagine the world. You know, we men are never going to give our seats to you. You need to claim it. You need to fight for it. Instead of crying, invariably, I see many of the women say, we don't get opportunities. You know, opportunities are like sunrise and sunset. They come very rare and very fast and swiftly. It has to be grabbed with both your hands. And I want each one of you here, you need to grab it. Nobody gives the opportunity to anybody else. You need to grab it with both your hands. And nobody knows it better than you women. If you can handle the men, you can handle the children, you can handle the house, you can handle the medicine in the house, you can handle the education of your child, you can handle the finances of your child. So in India, we call woman Durga. Durga is a goddess which has 10 hands. No god in India has 10 hands. It is only a woman goddess which has 10 hands. Because you are multifaceted, each one of you can work fantastically well, 10 things at a time. We men can only work with 2 things at a time with our 2 hands. That's it, period. It does not move beyond that. So take charge of your destination. We live in fantastic times. We live in modern times when you can claim. You can claim your space. You can walk out. You can move out. You can decide what you want to do. You can carry other women on your back. It is important that we live in this modern world and look after ourselves and look after the community at large. It is important. It is important that we create equity. World is at strife when people are not in equity. When some are too rich and some are too poor. Some are too strong and some are too weak, right? Some are too many men and too little women. This is where the problem comes on. This is where we need to work on that. And let me tell you that I always believe that instead of finding the medicine to the problem, let us find a solution to the problem. The medicine to ending plastic misuse, creating right carbon footprints, creating a world which is more environment friendly. The solution, the medicine is that you go up and pick up the plastic on the beach, go up and pick up and look after your forest. But that is the solution. What is the prevention? Prevention is education. Prevention is creating a lifestyle. Preventing is making people learn that they should lead a better life. Prevention is making them understand that they don't need to misuse plastic. That is prevention. We don't need to find cures. We don't need to find medicine. We need to make sure that our lifestyle improves. And that is exactly what I work about. And I want to talk about, and I always stress on that. Creating that, I always believe that I have already set up 30 of these vocational training centers for women in my city. We are expanding it, and I lead the All India Literacy Mission for India for Rotary. And I always believe couple these things together. It is important to make women literate and a girl child literate, and at the same time give them opportunity to serve, opportunity to work. Only literacy will not work. Only teaching them how to work is not going to work. It has to go hand in hand, because you can only clap with 2 hands. You cannot clap with a single hand. So I want each one of us in your community, set up a center which will help people to gain knowledge and to gain vocational expertise. If they are already vocational experts, you can increase their expertise, make it more and more viable. Also, if there are too many experts, learn to teach them to share their expertise with somebody else. Go out there, handhold somebody. Somebody handheld us, each one of us Rotarian, gave us this opportunity to join this fantastic organization and share our ability and share the joy of giving, being able to give to others. That is the most fantastic gift which you can do, is to give to others. Because I always believe, and like a saying goes, that the greatest gift in the world which you can get and you can give to somebody else is education. Because that is the only ladder out of poverty. That is the only ladder which is the bridge between the rich and the poor. That is the only ladder which will make the world a better place to live in, is education. And by educating, you will make sure that people will lead more healthier life, better life, more informed life, and a wonderful life which will create a wonderful space across the world. So I plead to each one, Take up literacy programs, support literacy programs. If your community is totally literate, which is so probably in Gert's community, probably in Germany, probably in Netherlands, probably you are 100% literate. But what stops you from supporting literacy in other parts of the world? Like I said, you need to help create the garbage in the apart from your own house. If you want to live peacefully, if you want to lead a good life, you need to make sure everyone is leading a good life. Then be the good farmer, and then you will see the world will prosper and we will live in peace forever. And then we will have a plastic-free world. And that's why I always say that let's go out there and do something good. For in giving, we receive. For in pardoning, we are pardoned. And for in surrendering, we are born to eternal life. Take up the eternal life and the path of doing good in the world, and the world will give back to you. So your echo. So whenever you get on top of the mountain, you yell, "I love you very much." When you yell to the nature on the mountain top, if you say, "I love you very much," the mountain replies back 3 times more. "I love you, I love you." The echo comes back. But if you say, "I don't love you very much," the mountain will say back, "I don't love you." So the world depends on your echo, which you have created. The echo which you create is what is going to come back to you 3 times. So let's create all a beautiful echo so that the environment yells back or blesses it back 3 more times than what we bless the environment with. So having said that, God bless each one of you. I want each one of us, let us join hands to make this world a better place to live and live our motto of service of ourselves and doing good in the world, fruitful, and let us pledge to the world that we will create hope in the world and make the world a more beautiful place to live. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kamal. Thank you very much for this beautiful, yet paradigm shifting speech, but also very practical in how to give it hand and feet. Thank you so much. Is there somebody in the audience who has a question for Mr. Kamal?
I don't have a question. I don't have a question, but an addition. As EndPlasticSoup, I also told it in the beginning, we have many, many educational programs, and even in Germany, it is important to work on plastic pollution. So we have a toolbox here, and many, many schools are working with that toolbox. It is made by Rotarians, so we use our network to make it bigger and to be successful. And in many other countries, like in Uganda, like in Ghana, but also on the Philippines, in India, in Vietnam, we're working with educational programs from people living around there. So it's regional and it is fitting to the country where it is used in. So I think this is one of the main things we are doing, creating awareness among the young people. They are our future. They are the future for the world and the planet. So it is very important to work with them. Thank you so much, Mr. Kamal. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. If anybody has any further questions, I hope, Mr. Kamal, you can answer them in the chat for us.
Yeah, I can.
Great. And maybe we have some time at the Q&A. People have a bit of time to think about a question. Now I would like to ask Jeanette, are you ready to tell us about the plastic treaty? Which is also very exciting. Great, thanks.
Yes, I am. Okay. Tatian? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I decided to use my actually provide a progress towards the development of the international legally binding instrument on plastic pollution, including the marine environment. We are calling it the UN Plastic Treaty, but so far we don't have it. So we are just calling it an instrument because there's a progress towards its development. Next slide. I start by just giving you a few pointers coming out from the UN Environment Assembly's resolution that's actually known as Resolution 514 that was passed in March 2022, and it endorsed in Nairobi a historic resolution to end plastic pollution. Now, a few pointers. One is that UNEP has a mandate, that is the UN Environment Programme, has a mandate to forge an internationally legally binding instrument to prevent and reduce global plastic pollution by 2024. That is by the end of this year. The executive director was mandated to convene an international intergovernmental negotiating committee, which is known as an INC, which began its work in 2022 and is to complete its work by 2024. Now, this INC will develop the internationally legally binding instrument, and is a whole process that I'll just take you through so that we can know where we are in terms of developing this instrument. Again, the executive director was requested to prioritize providing necessary support to developing countries and countries with economies in transition, also with relevant stakeholders, so as to enable their effective participation in the negotiating processes. Again, the executive director was requested to set up a forum that was open to all stakeholders to exchange information and activities. Lastly, is all member states were requested to continue and to step up activities and adopt voluntary measures to combat plastic pollution. This would include national action plans. They also requested to provide statistics on environmental sound management of plastic waste. So I just picked up these 5 points just to see what the resolution was all about. Next slide. Just a few things to remind us of why we are focusing on plastic pollution. A few statistics drawn from mainly from the UNEP Environment Programme research. One is that since 1950s, 8.3 billion tons of plastic have been produced. And today, 6.3 billion tons are plastic waste, which means that about 10% can be recycled. Now, this is a bit worrying. Annually, we have 8 to 12 million tons of plastic waste leaking into the oceans. The grim forecast is 1,100 million tons of plastic waste by 2050. Again, there's a lot of studies that have been carried out by UNEP in terms of showing how much plastic waste is being produced annually. It's estimated that 75 to 199 million tons of plastic is currently found in our oceans. Again, that is something that we should really, really be worried about. And therefore, unless we change how we produce, use, and dispose of plastic, the amount of plastic waste entering the aquatic ecosystem could nearly triple from 9 to 14 million tons per year in 2016 to a projected 23 to 37 million tons per year by 2040. Again, we have an increasing trend towards use of single-use plastics, and most have become part of our daily lives. We have water bottles, milk bottles, cutlery, shopping bags, even food packaging, beverage packaging. This has become so much the use of our lives. And this is something that we also have to address, the use of single-use plastics. And then 2022, there have been reports of plastic particles found in human lungs, in human blood, and a 2021 report found microplastics in human placenta. So this is just to give us an idea of why we are focusing on plastic pollution. Of course, there's a lot more information, but just something to jot, just to waken our minds in terms of the grim situation with respect to plastic pollution. Hatian, next slide, please. Now, in the following slides, I'm just going to take you through what has been happening since the resolution 514 was passed in 2022. And this is really the INC, the Intergovernmental Negotiation Committee processes that will eventually come up with a treaty. So the first INC was held in Uruguay in 2022. And this session was to develop, the mandate of the first session was to develop an international legally binding instrument on plastic pollution. And in doing this, the session sought to facilitate the exchange of information, gathering of perspectives from different stakeholders across the plastics life cycle. So there was a huge multi-stakeholder forum that was held. I think it had about 3,000 participants. It was hybrid. And so there were those who made it to Uruguay physically, and there were those who joined online. And basically this forum was to gather all the information from the various stakeholders who included government, private sector, civil society, finance sector, and also international organizations. So the information was collected, focusing on challenges and opportunities that should be considered in the negotiations, again, on existing actions that would help in shifting the needle on plastic pollution, including marine environment. And also there was information that was collected on how stakeholders are approaching actions on plastic solutions. Lastly, on key opportunities and challenges that the global agreement
Janet, I cannot hear you.
No, me neither.
The connection seems bad. It's not good enough, Janet.
Hear me?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
dear.
coming back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good again.
Okay. I'm using both my phone and my laptop at the same time. Sorry, we had out. Yeah. Where did I stop?
Janet, to the next slide, Janet.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Where did I stop? At this first?
Yeah.
This first slide?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go to INC2.
Yes, please. Okay. So I just said in the last slide is that the INC not focus on procedural matters, and therefore INC2 actually met, and the first thing that dominated these discussions was the procedural matters. That was the first thing that they first addressed, and thereafter they addressed taking the first steps towards negotiating a new treaty on plastics pollution. Now, what characterized this particular INC is that there was a lot of disagreement on the procedural matters, such that this particular meeting almost collapsed. Then you'll find that there was little time left to address how do we negotiate the new treaty. Now, when you talk about the procedural matters, you're talking about the draft rules of procedure, electing the bureau, all the bureaucratic steps that have to be taken in order to set up the structure for the INC and how it was going to go forward. So you find that you don't get a lot of information from INC2 with respect to the treaty, and you find there was a request that an adoptions paper should be presented. The adoptions paper presented in the INC1 was to be further reworked on and to be presented again as a zero draft in INC3. So that was actually one of the key outcomes. But the INC2 is actually acknowledged as a groundbreaking session because the Secretariat and the chair of the session was able to stop the whole negotiation processes going off. So now we have a request for the chair to prepare a zero draft, and then there was the pending procedural matters having been solved by INC3, INC2. Let's go to the next slide.
Jeanette, 2 more minutes, if that's okay, just to keep the agenda.
Yeah.
Thank
next
you.
Slide. Yes. So INC3 was actually the last one, which was held in November in Nairobi. And in here, you had the discussions on the zero draft, which had been prepared. And it focused on just identifying the relevant sections that would actually be utilized to now form the treaty. Now, the zero draft sought to regulate single-use plastics and set ambitious targets with accelerated timelines. And it had broad messages on the life cycle of plastics, plastic products, with the aim of addressing plastic pollution, means of implementation, and implementation plans and institution arrangements. Now, all of this was discussed in 3 contact groups, and each of them came up with a lot of information that was going to now be included into the next draft. Let's go to the next slide. 2 more slides. INC3. And this, you find that the INC3 is got a lot of information where the delegates actually discuss the comprehensive life cycle approach, national action plans, international corporations, hazardous materials, etc. So there's a lot of information that actually can be sieved out from the discussions of INC3. However, no single draft was achieved. And as a result, the Secretariat was requested to redraft the zero draft, including all these recommendations coming from the discussions, and to be presented into INC4. Again, you find that what was coming out is discussions on defining the life cycle of plastics, and also whether the measures will start upstream from production or down to downstream when we're dealing with plastic waste. And the other dimension that's coming up relates to types of obligation that the treaty will have. Now, INC4, next slide. INC4 will be held in April this year in Ottawa, Canada, and it will address the updated resolution, which has already been prepared. Thereafter, INC5 will be held in Korea in November, where it's expected that the agreement of the instrument will be agreed upon. Lastly, a diplomatic conference will be held in 2025, where we'll go through the procedures of adapting the instrument and opening it up for signature. So I've put a lot of links in this presentation for those who are interested in following up in greater detail how this process has been going. Now, next slide, which is the last slide, Marie-Louise.
Yes, it's here.
Yeah, yeah. The last slide, actually, I just thought about opportunities that exist for Rotary, and also bearing in mind what our guest speaker talked about spreading love. I mean, I think it was very powerful. So including that, I have about 3 suggestions. One, we need to have a clear message that Rotary is bringing to the table, and we stick to it. Are we supporting the full life cycle approach? Are we calling for strict regulation of production or on production and use, or are we supporting end of plastic waste? What are we calling for? We can have one general message and different actions addressing the different stages of the full cycle approach. The other, once the message is clear, we may call upon all clubs to start rallying around the message, either at country, region, global level. The End Polio campaign provides us lessons on sustaining worldwide campaigns. Third, Rotary may build on the Adapter River MOU between UNEP and Rotary International and engage in activities with UNEP focused on implementation of the agreed upon instrument to end plastic pollution. The MOU is due for review. It was signed in 2019, and I think it is due for revision. So thank you very much, and I'm so sorry about the technical glitch.
Don't worry. Thank you so much for speaking. It's a very chewy process. I wish you all the best in bringing this to the world. Thank you so much. Mr. Amin, can I ask you to continue on your presentation on the Nile?
Yeah. Good morning. My name is Amin Sabri. I am past president of Rotary Club of Al Shuruk, and just appointed the director at EndPlasticSoup, Egypt and Middle East. Next, please. What I'm going to discuss now is a global grant we did to make the Nile plastic free. As we know, an estimated 8 million tons of plastic ending up in the oceans every year. Next, please. The rivers are the main contributors for the plastic going to the sea. Next. Unfortunately, the Nile alone contributes 85,000 tons per year. It is ranked number 6 worldwide among rivers in pollution. Next. We decided to build a boat, catamaran, to collect the plastic from the Nile, send it for recycling. So we agreed with the German club, Rotary Menschenland in Germany, and we were joined by several German clubs, Egyptian clubs, American club, 3 districts. Also joined us was EndPlasticSoup, and Mr. Salvador Rico joined as a person. Next, please. To make the project sustainable, we need a partner. So we looked for a reputable partner. We find a group called Very Nile. It's an NGO working very actively in Egypt for fighting plastic in the Nile. They have a big a hub on an island near Cairo. It's called Corsia Island, where they collect the plastic, compact it, recycle it. It's also, they have an agreement, a very good agreement with the fishermen of the island. You know, the fish is getting less and less, so they agreed with the fishermen to fish the plastic for them and collect it for them, since they're on the Nile every day. They also, it's a kind of a social, they have a social situation also, helping the people of the island. They have a nursery, they have literacy classes. So it's a very good partner. All these products, when collected, are sold, so there's income, so the project is self-sustainable. Next, please. The boat allows to collect all kinds of floating trash on the Nile. Next. However, only plastic is kept. Organic material like leaves, branches, algae, all are returned back to the Nile. Next. The plastic is pre-segregated on the boat. We collect a lot of bottles, cola bottles, water bottles, yogurt cups, foam for food packaging, flip-flops, a lot of flip-flops on the Nile, small debris and so on. Next, please. The collected plastic, the PET, is then compacted in the facility of the Nile on the Corsia Island, sent to this plastic recycling company to be transferred into pellets. These pellets are then used to make new bottles. Next, please. No, one back, please. Back one. There is also low-value plastic. A low-value plastic that is sent to a cement factory to be used as fuel for their furnaces. So all the plastic collected is reused again. Next. Next, please. I'll show you some pictures now. This is a picture of the Nile. This is a barrage south of Cairo. If you can see the picture, a lot of plastic is accumulated on the barrage. If you see the amount of plastic is purifying just one part of the Nile. Next, please. This is another picture also showing this barrage and the plastic accumulating in it. Next. Next, please. This is a banner with all the Rotary clubs that were participating in our project. This is the boat. Okay, this is the boat that we have built. It's a catamaran. It floats on the Nile and collects anything floating. Next, please. This is a picture of the compacting machine for the bottles, where it's compacted, made into pallets. Next, please. This is the pallets sent to the recycling company. Next. Bottle caps are also collected, crushed, and made use of some products. They make tabletops. They make a lot of fabrics out of the plastic. A lot of products can be produced in this workshop there. Next, please. This is the workshop of the Corsia Island of the Nile. Where they produce some articles out of the plastic. They make fiber, textiles, and they can include bags, hats, curtains, a lot of some products which they can sell. This is one of the visits we made at this Corsia Island. And these are the products, bags. Next, please. Next, please. These are also some products, bags, ashtrays. A lot of products can be produced out of these plastics. Here we have a list of the what is being collected, monthly collection of the plastic, and we follow up every month with the very Nile how the work is being done. Next, please. Well, we hope to make a better future, Nile plastic free for our new generation, and make a better world. Next. I just have an announcement that we are opening a new global grant with our partners in Mentionland to make a new hub like this in south of Egypt, 500 kilometers south of Cairo. The main idea, we're going to work with fishermen, repair their boats, ask them to collect us the plastic in the Nile, and work for recycling. So I hope you can join us in this global grant. We're always appreciating partners, new partners that can join. Next. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's really great to see it in action, how Rotary works. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, really.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Anne, can I ask you to continue with your presentation?
Of course, Marie-Louise, thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to tell you that I'm in India right now. I'm not in the Netherlands because I'm making the preparations for this plastic recycle factory about which I am going to talk right now. Next sheet, please. This is a global grant together with Rotary Club Vijayanagram in Andhra Pradesh, India, and my own club in Amsterdam. And the main course is we are focusing on the low-worthy plastic, so not on the PET bottles, and see what we can do with that. Next, please. Next, please, Fredjan. Yeah. And this is a global grant, and these are some pictures I made myself at trash belts in India. Next, please. And why? Well, high time to protect the land, sea, food, and health. So I will not go into that because all people who are present know about this. Next, please. What we are doing, we are going to focus on the fisher villages. And that is because in the 50 years, they came a long way. There was no plastic. And now around these villages, there is a thick layer of 10 to 20 centimeters of plastics, which slowly moves to the sea. The villages itself are clean. I agree with that with Kamal Sangvi, but as soon as you are outside, you see all these plastics. And what we are doing is trying to see plastic as a new raw material that you can use for practical products. And we combine it with a vocational training for youngsters with a disability to become a plastic recycle operator, plus community trainings. Next, please. These are some youngsters in India who can use a job. They live at Campus Challenge, which is one of our partners in this area. Next, please. And these are the materials. This picture has been made in Arnhem, that is a town in the Netherlands, where, to my surprise, there is a firm, a small firm named Safe Plastics, and they make these products out of recycled plastics, the low-worthy plastics. And what you see is useful stuff. It's not fun stuff for tourists or whatever. No, it is really something a person needs to build a house. It is about shelves, beams, tiles, lantern poles, etc. And the products which you see in the lower part of the page are really existing. The houses which you see are really existing already in the Netherlands. Also the bridges. Next slide, please. So we decided to start a global grant And I think everybody on this table also knows that is a lot of work, because it's not only the application itself. I had to write in the months or years that I worked on it, 19 annexes. And there you see in red the 4 trainings we had to develop also. So that is also what we had in mind, of course, but what the foundation also really liked, that we are going to train the communities. We start with the children again, then we also have the adults, and we have a hero plan about which I will tell later. But that is, in fact, the third pole of this global grant. And without that, I think it would be useless. You have to change the communities if you want to have this thing working. And also very important is, and that was a big surprise to me, I had to write monitoring and evaluation plan, sustainability and financial plan, operations and maintenance plan. All these things came, yeah, at certain moments, and that was I think that the foundation could help a little bit by changing this application form to give you at the right moment the right link to fill in such a form, but because it was a lot of work. Next slide, please. As with the Nile project, we need, of course, partners, and we have 3 partners. One of them is the location, that is Campus Challenge for Children and Youth with Disability in Andhra Pradesh. The other is the Friends Indeed Foundation in the Netherlands, of which I am the voluntary director. And we gave a guarantee for the additional costs. That Rotary also liked very much, because that means that there is no risk for them. And as mentioned already, Safe Plastic Netherlands will arrange all the technology. Together, these 3 partners plus the 2 Rotary clubs were in Andhra for an assessment of a whole week. And that was very necessary to understand exactly what is going on in the field and what to do. Next, please. I'm not going into this in detail, because this assessment only I can talk about an hour, so that I will not do. But we followed the plastic, and we decided on the type of raw plastic we can use, which products are most needed here, and we built a business case. Next, please. Partner 1 is a strong partner, because Campus Challenge is a regional center for disability. It's not some small place. It has a lot of buildings, and 150 children are here for education and healthcare, and they live in homes and go to school. And about 30 to 50 youngsters are here for a vocational training. If you want to look them up, you just go to the website. Next slide, please. This is just a picture of a part of the campus. Next slide. And some of the children who are living here. I myself, I am here in India since 2004. The campus has been constructed in 2008-09 with Dutch funds. So we have a strong foot at this place still. Thank you. Next slide. Friends, indeed, you also just look up. We are involved already in 3 matching grants, and now this is the 4th one. This is the global grant. And I have 2 caps, as you understand. I am a Rotarian, and I am this voluntary director of Friends Indeed. And together, this is very fruitful collaboration. Next, please. Then the most important partner is Safe Plastics in the Netherlands. You can also find them because they have this knowledge via a big program financed by European funds, how to do this. And the same machinery which you see here in the Netherlands will go already in a more advanced state to India. Next slide, please. Very important is that we found out when we were here, we should not go for the PET bottles, because they are already more, too expensive here, and already some scarcity is showing. So we go for this low-worthy plastics, like the water pouches and things like that. And also very important is the second part of this slide, the lifetime. When we make a new product, let's say a plank, that product can stay for 40 years. And after that, you can recycle it 9 times before the molecules really break. So this is a very sustainable products when you look in that way, when you think of it as raw material. Next slide, please. Here you see what we are doing. You see the raw materials, and we can use the left, but the best is in fact what you see at the right side. That is this pouch thing which has been already pressed in 100 kg bulks, which we buy nearby in another Rotary factory, and which is easy for us to process. Because at a campus for children with disability, you don't want a kind of garbage belt, just you want to have clean environment. So we buy these ready as they are. Next, please. Then about the products, when you have planks, of course you can make products. You can make like these flower boxes or whatever. Next, please. You can have the tiles. You can see here a wall which has been made with the tiles, and you see flower boxes also again made with the planks. Next, please. And here you see also fences, very useful in India because everybody here wants to have his land with fences. Next. Very beautiful. This is in the town in the Netherlands. You see also these flower boxes empty, and when the plants are there. We think this is also a very smart solution to have climate walls and have the environment more cooler. Next, please. You can also make houses. You simply saw and you make blocks. And then you, at the right side, you see a house which is at this moment they built in Arnhem. Next, please. Here the fences again, but also paths, because the material is not slippery. So you can very well make paths like this. Next, please. And in the future, we also want to have tiles, but that would mean a third mall, and that we're not going to do yet. Next, please. And then combined, indeed, with a 3-year training program in 8 villages, which has to be repeated. That means that those 3 programs have to be repeated 3 times to see to it that it really lands. And this picture, you might think it's very romantic, but I just made it last year. So this is the real situation, how people live in those villages. And we constructed as being friends, indeed, some of the schools in those villages. So we have a very good relation with those villages. And we think that we can indeed make a difference here. Next, please. So at the end, also to protect the program and see to it that we really will be able to report very well at the end, we are going to have a conference at campus itself. We have the facility to do that. And we will organize it together with youth. We did that before in another program about the plastic recycle factory, which really should be a unit who is sustainable and earns money. The vocational training for youth, that they really need to learn something in a way that they can also find a job in another area. And the 3 trainings in the village to really make a change over there. Next, please. Yeah, that's already my last slide. Let's go for it. I'm very happy I'm here. Yeah, and can prepare the building. That's what I'm doing now.
Thank you so much. Also a beautiful, inspiring story. Thank you so much, Anne, for all your efforts here and for speaking today.
Thank you very much. Shall I show this short video, and then Maria can introduce Abdul maybe afterwards? Yes?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
No sound in the beginning, but then we see Gordon, our
Greetings, this is Gordon McAnally, your Rotary International President. I'm here at COP28 with my friend Abdul from Ghana. Abdul is very involved with the EndPlasticSoup initiative, and it's so important that we address an initiative like that. COP is all about addressing the issues of climate change and the climate crisis. Plastic soup is just one part of that, so please consider supporting EndPlasticSoup now. Okay.
Yes, and I'm very happy that Abdul is now in our meeting. He is in Orlando, and it's quite early in the morning there. Abdul is our Rotary Act ambassador. No, he's our director now, and he's in Ghana. He was in Germany and in the Netherlands in December, and we were very pleased to have him here and to support him, because he's not only an ambassador for EndPlasticSoup, he's working on so many different subjects to make the world better in the north of Ghana. And I'm very, very pleased, Abdul, that you're here now. So the floor is yours. Please tell us something about what you're doing in Orlando now.
Okay, thank you very much, PDG Maya, and I think it is a great opportunity. So I send you best greetings from Orlando, Florida. So I'm currently in Orlando to join the WashRAC meeting. That is the WashRAC Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Rotary Action Group meeting. And my role is to, I'm the youth leader for young people interested in WASH. And as part of, as we all know, WASH is not just only water. There is a component of water sanitation. And for me, being a director of EndPlasticSoup, I deem it necessary to see the need for WashRAC as an action group to integrate the component of plastics as a major problem in the sanitation aspect, because it is a very big problem in the world. For instance, I'm coming from Ghana, and every day in Ghana, we generate almost 1.8 million tons of plastic waste every year, and less than 10% is recycled in Ghana. So meaning this is a very big problem. So as WashRAC is focusing on a lot of water-related projects, doing boreholes, I think there is the need for us to see for us to collaborate, for people to, for WashRAC to have a focus on the aspect of plastic waste and creating, and also so that we will see the impact of plastic waste on the water bodies, on our agriculture, on our economic development, and on the health of people. So this is really something, because plastics are becoming a major problem in the world. So how do we join hands? Because I see this to be a collaborative effort than an individual effort. If EndPlasticSoup is leading this initiative in Rotary, and we get more collaborators within the Rotary fraternity, I think this will be a great opportunity, and this will be a great advantage for everyone working towards environmental sustainability, for us to have a better and a greater climate-friendly environment as well. So for me, I think my role here today in Orlando is to ensure that Rotarians within the board of WashRAC get to understand the need to integrate or to collaborate with EndPlasticSoup, so that we can have them on board in planning our initiatives and also in putting up our projects, so that we can expand our reach when it comes to projects or initiatives in Rotary. So basically, that is what I'm doing in Orlando, and I'm so much grateful I'm able to join this meeting and look, and also I'm so grateful to see a lot of initiatives that have been presented, and they are really great projects, and we are looking forward to seeing a greater impact in the world so that we can have a better world. Like the last presenter, Anne said, let's start now. It is our role now. So let's start now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abdul. So happy that you were joining us, and have a good day in Orlando. And yes, I hope you will succeed and convince WashRAC to work together with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much too.
Great, thanks. It's time for a quick Q&A. Who would like to ask something to our great presenters today? I saw already in the chat there is some exchange on contact details. That's very fruitful, hopefully. Who has a question? Abdul, and then
Yes.
Urs.
I have a question to the last to the what's the name? The first presenter on the aspect of the type of plastics. So what type of like plastics are they going to, are they looking at general plastics that need to be recycled, or they need some specific plastics to be recycled in India? The one who presented on India. Sorry, that's the second presenter.
Yeah, to Anne. Question.
Yeah, I put that in the presentation, but I did not read it aloud. The type of plastics is there. And I don't know whether Gert-Jan can do some magic and show it again. But
no,
it's indeed, we go for the lower, it's simply the street plastic. And that street plastic that goes in a agglomerator, and we melt it, and then we put it in a mold, and then we make planks and tiles of it. And what exactly is added, I do not know, but no chemical stuff, because if you do that, you cannot recycle it again. So then you are doing something stupid. So it's only that which goes in.
Yes.
And it's nice if you want high quality, then you take only the water pouches and that kind of plastic, the transparent plastics. But you can also use this other dirty plastics. As long as you're not going to use it for, let's say, a plate to eat your food, you can simply use it. You don't have to clean it. Because what you see with the PET bottles, indeed, you have to, before you shred it, you have to wash it, etc. And then it goes to the textile industry. There is a total different process. This is for outside material, for planks and for parts and for whatever you want to make it for outside.
Thank you.
Urs, do you have a question?
No, I don't have a question, but I have a comment. If I follow this meeting, and a fantastic meeting, thank you for the organizers, I see that several different organizations are aiming the same goal. I think the collaboration would simplify everything within Rotary. Rotary, we have EndPlasticSoup, we have ESRAC, we have WashRac. Why does Rotary doesn't aim to have one big organization aiming the same goal? So we are dispersing our time, we are losing our time in organization questions, but we should have hands on, and we should work with our hands on, not only with flying from one meeting to another. We should be on place and do something positive in favor of the nature.
Thank you for the comment, Urs. Somebody want to respond to that, or do we keep it as a comment?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Let's continue. We're almost at the end of the program for today. There is a movie, right? Gert-Jan.
Helen is with us.
I am Helen Nambayura Nkabala, the director of the Rotary Peace Center at Makerere University. And I'm happy to share with you some of the attributes that make our program unique. Using the experiential and blended learning approaches, our curriculum focuses on 4 broad areas: the fundamentals and approaches to peace and development, human rights, governance and media, refugees, migration and community cohesion, then identity, human security, resources, and climate change. Our fellows can transfer credits to any university globally. Our location in the Great Lakes region, coupled with Uganda being home to over 1.4 million refugees, presents our fellows with a variety of learning sites for their field study. Working very closely with the very vibrant and engaged Rotary clubs, the fellows will be supported through a 9-month-long community engagement where they will execute a social initiative of their choice in their communities. Joining the program at the Rotary Peace Center, Makerere University, also gives the fellows an opportunity to get well grounded in Rotary's positive peace philosophy by the Institute of Economics and Peace. We will be delighted to offer you more information. please reach out to us. Keep safe.
I think Dr. Helen is...
Yeah, Dr. Helen, are you with us? I see you entering and exiting. Maybe you have some problems with the Zoom.
No, I'm actually here. I just exited because I was looking at the phone as if it had frozen, but I'm delighted to be here. Sorry, I may not play my video because I am actually in a vehicle going somewhere. But thank you so much for hosting us today, and thanks so much for the topic today, a very important topic. I would be happy to be guided by you on what you'd be happy to hear from us.
Well, if I may, Helen, you're next on the Rotary Synergy Europe session. Do you know when this Rotary Synergy Europe will be held?
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. We shall be holding it on Saturday, same time. And on that Saturday, we shall be looking at Rotary Center at Makerere University is doing. And what is important is that it was exciting to see what is being done on the plastic soup, because we do have a few fellows who have actually done something around climate change from different angles. So on that day, we shall be letting you know more about what the Rotary Center at Makerere University does in tandem with Rotary International. So yes,
okay.
I see a comment which distracted me. So we shall be happy to host you, and we look forward to seeing each of you and working more with each of you, because as an institution of higher learning, this is exactly how best we can contribute to the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Great. Then we've come to the end of our program, not of our efforts, of course. We continue, and as Maria said, with more speed and connection, hopefully, and energy. Gert-Jan, can I ask you to close our meeting for today?
Yes. I thank you all for attending. I think it's again a wonderful summary of what we are doing all together. Like Urs was saying, we need cooperation. Together we can conquer the world and we can really make a change. Our young generation needs our focus. Like Abdul is one of the examples, and we have many more in the young leaders for change in this world. And I think when all of us use our experience, our drive, our energy, and like Kamal said, our love, to also the young people, to the women, to give equity to the girls, and to understand that when we can get 3 or 4 or 5 leaders to come into this world to bring us forward, to inspire us, to lead us, then we can really make a change. And I think this session was again one of the proofs that we can really make it, and we can make the change to bring peace. First of all, we need this peace. It's destroying not just so many lives, but also our climate, and to help us all to work together to do the right thing for each other. Thank you very much. And then I would say, let's close the recording.